Welcome to Pitchslap.
From there, I'll ask all those questions. I got a couple good lead-ins to get to that anecdote, and there we go.
I love it. Let's do it, man. I'll take your
All
lead.
right. Self-intro, all you.
Hey everyone, Alex Glenn here, founder CEO of Partner Hub under Partner Programs Incorporated. We own and operate two communities, the Agency Partner Collective, just for service providers, digital agencies, and the Partner Programs Collective for teams that want to learn how to do partnerships in this era of partnerships. Underneath that, we operate a Slack community of about 7,000 members, agencies, and tech companies in there. We're big in MarTech. We're big in sales tech, operations tech, very much product-led, partnership-led organizations come to us to learn and find and manage their partnerships. That's me.
Awesome. No offense to previous guests, but this is probably the most fluid and ready to rock intro. Everybody that's listening in, recording date, Tuesday, November 21st. Happy Thanksgiving, Mr. Alex.
Oh, yeah.
And any brand or anything else that's mentioned on this show is not a sponsor because nobody's asked to sponsor us yet, but you're more than welcome to. And by the time this airs, we may have changed our opinions, and that is what it is. This internet is not written in ink. Feel free to disagree and argue. We're both available on LinkedIn, and our DMs are open for us to be told we're wrong, and for us to snap back and show you why you are instead. Welcome to Pitchslap, everybody. We're put together by Mr. Mason Cosby. He called us both out for having decent shows to be on. Or no, appreciative to be on the show. He didn't say anything positive, which is unlike him, but there we go. You got a show? What's your show?
I forgot that as well. We have Make Them Famous, the podcast where we bring together two sides of one partnership. We brought together Mason and Gory. I forget what company Gory's at today, but they were partners back in the day. They've done a lot of go-to-market together. We just recorded with them. But MakeThemFamous.fm is our podcast. You can check that out if you are interested in how partnerships work. It's the only podcast where we have two different representatives from the same partnership on the same episode. Most of our episodes, we have a few single interview episodes, but most of them are two individuals on either side, which is a really awesome dynamic. We get to hear how one person thinks of the partnership, how the other person thinks of it, what they did wrong, what they did right. And it's very much like partnership marriage counseling. It's fun.
Perfect. And like any good marriage, sometimes you're better off doing it all by yourself. But,
It does happen. It does happen.
In pre-show, we actually found out that we have another great partnership relationship person that we know, Amanda Nielsen. I'm proudly wearing my No Need for Data, Just Vibes hoodie.
Shout out.
You can find her on thoughtleaderlabs.com. That's THOT, thoughtleaderlabs.com. Anyway, what's up, dude? Who are you?
Yeah, I'm looking at our mutual connections, and we have a lot. I have a lot of mutual connections with anyone in tech, but you and I have a whole bunch. A lot of agencies that we're both connected with, so that's always good. I mean, I came from the agency world. We were talking about that maybe pre-recording, I don't know, but I think that's super important for any partnerships, any tech leader in today's. If you haven't been an agency, hire someone that has. Make sure you understand what these solutions partners are, who they are, what they go through, what they need, what their day-to-day is like, and take appreciation for that, because at some point or another, if you're a tech company, you're going to have to work with solutions providers. It's just how it is today.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's keep the conversation going on this front. We'll double back to all the childhood trauma of how you land into sales and marketing and partnerships. And what I was considering the fun part of the show, at least to get to know you, but I'll throw it out there. Alex is a serial founder. He's a serial advisor. He's been across various industries. So I'll vouch for him on this, and we can just pick it up from here. I'm an out of house boy as well. I'm a strong believer of agency side experience so that you have perspective when you go into places. The same reason I think anybody that has a full-time job should at the very least have a complicated hobby so that they can keep their perspective wide open. Now, you're talking about partnerships that are a little bit different than what I've experienced. My partnerships have been co-marketing efforts, like with Miller Coors and Mini Cooper, or Dolby and these other brands, where there's maybe something complementary, but there's not really a revenue there's not a revenue push that's based on the partnership. And when you're talking about the work you do, the type of partnerships that you have in mind, it seems like these are they co-selling beyond co-marketing? What do you consider a partnership to be?
Yeah, that's a difficult question in any respect, from any perspective, because of course, if you're the head of marketing for Coors, you're looking at partnerships in a totally different way than if you're the CEO of a SaaS company. Much different. So the word partnerships, I think, is too general. Underneath that, there is another term called channel, which is getting closer to where we are today, what we're talking about. The word channel came from your Microsoft and Apple and computer Dell sales channels, where if they wanted to go into a market like Texas, they would have to have people that can repair the computers and distribute the computers and service those computers on the ground in Texas. They can't just say, we're open for business in Texas, come get a computer. It doesn't work like that. They had to create a channel and set that up before they enter a new market. Now, SaaS starts, software, SaaS, and the traditional software before SaaS started as the same kind of operation because the computer came with software. And now that software sells through the channel. Salespeople on the ground say, all right, we've got computers in homes. Now there are software programs coming out for those computers. Let's leverage the same channels to get those sales done. It's called channel sales, right? SaaS comes along, software as a service. Now things get shaken up a little bit. And they say, okay, well, we've got these software channels, but our SaaS is not tied to a piece of equipment. We don't need the traditional channel, but they kept the word channel for some reason. I still have yet to figure out why it's still called channel, because it doesn't make sense anymore. There doesn't need to be a channel to get HubSpot into China as a traditional sense. You don't need boots on the ground to get Salesforce into a different market, right? So that doesn't make sense. So now we're in this misnomer age of like everyone has a word for it, alliances, channel, partnerships, but it's different for everybody. And I know that doesn't answer your question, but to me, in our world, a partnership is two organizations working together to achieve the same goal, right? Let's just call it that. Two organizations working together to achieve a shared goal. That shared goal is usually market penetration. It could be specific to a company. Granular. I want to get into Oracle, and I have a contact at Oracle. But you have two contacts at Oracle, right? Let's figure out how those contacts can become my contacts, can know me. How do we figure that out becomes partnership strategy, which we teach. One of the ways to start, and the way we recommend, is to say, don't just ask that person for an introduction. That's going to land flat. It's going to be potentially bad for their reputation amongst those contacts. And they may oblige, but at the end of the day, they're just obliging if they even take that recommendation. So what you want to do is to say, no, seed the ground, put on your marketing hat, do some account-based approach to that specific entity, that organization, that those contacts. We call that co-marketing, like you mentioned. You say, you know what? We need my face and my brand to show up next to yours because you have a closer relationship to your customer base than I do, of course. And if I want to get my face and my brand, and if I want to get closer to your customers, I want to show up next to you in your blog, in your email newsletter, on your social sites, in person, do an event together, right? I need to show up next to you. We call that co-marketing, guilty by association, right? You and I may not be partners. We may not actually have any sort of written agreement. We may not even have any shared customers. But if we just show up next to each other, like in this podcast, people are going to assume you approve of me and I approve of you. And we're doing something together. And if I really do like one of us as a customer, I'm going to immediately say, oh, I should probably get to know the other one, right? Or at least I'm going to have that mental imprint. That's that impression, right? If you're an advertiser, I got the impression done. Then the next step is, okay, how do I push that impression to a pipeline deal? And how do I push that deal to a closed one? And that becomes partner operations. People call it channel sales, co-selling, pushing more co-marketing, doing more stuff together to get that deal done. And there's permutations of that operation, hundreds of those. So does that help?
Yeah, I should have interrupted you like 15 times, but yeah, no, we're there. We're there. I have the habit of talking over people. So yes, did we address it? Yeah, we addressed the part that it's an ambiguous term that's overused. Thank you for breaking down the acronyms. Acronyms are one of the big pet peeves we try to kill around here on Pitchslap.
Yeah.
And also thanks for giving me a win. Well, here, let me ask you the question. Do we call our customers partners?
I hate that.
Oh, thank you. All right. Marcus Kauke, I know you're listening.
I hate that.
Don't call your customers partners.
Well, I hate it because at the end of the day, it's like, I get it from the agency world. I probably called my clients partners, and I get why agencies do it. So if you're an agency listening, if you call your clients partners, make sure, they're okay with it. And because I just call you my partner, if I just say, hey, you're my partner, it's like calling your, some person that you just met that you'd love to date. It's like calling them your girlfriend, boyfriend. It's like calling them your partner.
Yeah.
Would they be okay with that? Probably not. They'd be like, no, that's odd. We barely know each other. Why are you calling me your partner? I kind of look at it very much like a relationship analogy, like any relationship. Call me your partner when we have an actual partnership, when we are doing things together in sync, and what I know, and we have a shared objective and maybe even some success. And just basically when you're okay with it, that's when and the subset of that is the other annoying and bothersome aspect of that is when a salesperson in an organization reaches out to somebody to partner, right? I want to partner with you. I want to partner with your organization. All they want to do is sell you something, right? They have a sale. And maybe they even have a title called typically it's like an alliances manager or something like that.
Partnerships and alliances. There's so many roles out there right now. It's super annoying.
But that person is really in a sales function, and all they're doing is trying to sell you something. They're not trying to partner at all. They just use the term partnership because they think with cold outreach, especially on LinkedIn, if their title isn't business development, but it's partnership development, they're going to get a higher open rate, reply rate, etc. I got into a long conversation with a salesperson. I always do this. If they reach out and I know they're trying to sell me something and they say, Alex, we'd love to partner with your organization. We love what you're doing. I'll bait them. I'll say, oh yeah, partner. What do you mean by that? Right. And they reply, and it's typically the same sort of, oh, we have the number one solution in this. We have all these G2 crowd. It's like, oh, great. What's the partnership opportunity? I'd love to partner with you. What's the partner? Yeah. We help you solve for this and hit all these numbers and do all these things. Like, oh, cool. That's so you're trying to sell me something. And then the conversation kind of stops right there. And it's like,
yep.
Oh yeah. You didn't know that?
And you see it a lot in media sales. So that insecurity of tone, that's always my argument on partnerships, especially when it comes to this software as a service world, the SaaS world, that the only reason you'd ever call your customer a partner, and case studies are not things that earn you partnerships. People drop that nonsense. It's bullshit. The only reason that salespeople or organizations start using this partner rhetoric is because they can't sell the product. The product doesn't have value, or they're expecting the customer to act as a partner and carry burden on their behalf. Like, you're going to pay 100% for 80% of the product. We're going to go on a journey together. We're living together. This is a contract life cycle. And that's, yeah, I hate that the term has been so abused and so just screwed up altogether because people, they use the term partner in cowardice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's caused some frustration for true partnership people. You know, when you are actively reaching out to someone, not to sell them something, to do something together for mutual benefit. You know, I want to bring value to your day and I don't have anything truly to sell you. And my name is Alex. I'm a partner manager at this organization. Yeah, it definitely, it's got to be frustrating for those individuals. I know it is. I just shared an article with you. You can check that out if you want, but it's the verbatim conversation I had with a salesperson that was reaching out to me through LinkedIn DMs, and it's pretty funny. It's a good read. So check that out. But so where are we now? So we talked about
can I step back?
Yeah.
Let's talk about can you give me some quick yes no answers on what you would consider to be a partnership? Let's talk about paying to be in somebody's marketplace.
No, I have another article that is exactly.
Is it a no?
Oh, which one? Yes. No. If you're paying, I would even argue if you're paying to be a part of the program, I think NetSuite and some of the other big programs, partner programs, have huge $30,000 fees to be a part of. I'd argue you are now a customer of theirs, almost like an MLM, you know, multi-level marketing.
Love those here.
You can join our MLM. You're going to buy all this stuff and then you sell it to those people. And maybe, you know, that's kind of like that. Like if you run a pay to play partner program, you are not running a partner program. You are running an MLM. And maybe it's successful for you. Sure, NetSuite was super successful. Not saying MLMs aren't successful. Some of them are, but it's an MLM. It's not a partner program.
And again, that's /in/Alex-Glenn with 2 N's, traditional spelling of Alex for all you MLM partnership people that want to hunt him down. Let's talk about alliances and frenemy situations. Enemy of your enemy is my enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah, there we go. Are those partnerships?
Well, again, it goes back to what are you doing together? So yeah, I'd say could be. I'd say again, another good example. I think that people use partnerships to define that is wrong. I integrate with your platform. I pay my developers to build an integration. You have an open API. Are we now partners because I have an integration to your platform? No, we're not.
What's the missing step? Co-marketing, co-selling?
The missing step integration. Is you building an integration to my platform.
Oh, reciprocity.
Yeah.
That's what a partnership is. Everybody carries the same level of burden and brings the same type of things to the table.
One caveat to that I have seen, it's kind of, sometimes this happens. We integrated with Zapier, right? So our users can push data and trigger stuff in Zapier's ecosystem, right? Or via Zapier. Now that I wouldn't consider a partnership. We did that. Great. Done. Now Zapier's partner team is reaching out to me to say, Alex, congrats on the integration. You have this many people who have added it. And if you get to this many, okay, now you unlock co-marketing. We're gonna put your templates in our library. We're gonna start driving you leads from our marketplace. We're gonna list you here. We're gonna rotate that out. We're gonna start driving you impressions. Okay, now Zapier is actively putting effort that I'm not paying for into bringing me business. I would say now we are partners of Zapier once we get to that level, which will be as soon. Right. So they still haven't built an integration with us, but they are actively working to bring me business. I'd consider them a partner.
So then, and it's hard to talk about bridgeware or connector platforms and also say partnership. So that enforces this reciprocity argument. Now you had talked about being seen together, and let's talk about the marriages as well. She's out of his league, that's for sure. When it comes to, there's a term that I used to back in experiential days when we did very different type of marketing. We used to joke about swagger jacking, where you'd have this big headliner brand or band, then you'd have these opening act brands that were getting credibility from being affiliated with the big brand. And the big brand was actually playing ball. Like, is that a partnership? Is that charity? Is that truly swagger jacking? Could you be a culture vulture and still be a partner? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I like that term, swagger jacking. I honestly
It's
haven't heard
trademarked and I've got the domain.
I haven't heard that.
Listening, don't worry about it.
I think another way to phrase that, like I mentioned, is guilty by association. And this is something that smaller marketing and salespeople should perfect. And perfect means it's better to do something that is great for your objectives as a smaller organization, leveraging the brand power of a larger organization. If it's beneficial for you and does not interfere with any, of course, legal compliance issues, and does not put you in a bad sort with that organization. I'll give you a perfect example. 2019, maybe 20, I'll call it 2020. COVID's going on, I think, at that time. HubSpot's partner track event that they do at Inbound was canceled. It's where they bring all their agencies and tech partners together to network and do all sorts of cool stuff. We heard about it. We said, let's do a virtual version. They're not even going to do any version. Screw that. Let's do it. We started doing these events called HubSpot Partner Tracks, which I don't know if that's exactly what they called it, that phrase, but we said, we're going to do it and we're going to call it HubSpot Partner Tracks. We bring together virtually agencies and tech partners, introduce them, thought leader panel, speed networking, all through a virtual event platform. And we put HubSpot's name on it. We don't say it's sponsored by HubSpot. We don't lie, but we definitely use their colors, their branding. We even invite some HubSpotters to the panels, obviously HubSpot agencies. And it was a success. And we did it again, and we did it again, and we did it again. Every year we get more buy-in from HubSpot. They're not paying us, but it is so good for their ecosystem. They say, we'll support it. They even post it in their Slack channels and they'll promote it on social and all that stuff. It started as, we're just going to take over and do it because they're not doing it and they need to. And if they're not going to do it, someone else has to, and that's us. We didn't ask for permission. They didn't yell at us, get upset and tell us to take their name off of it. They saw the value. It was truly valuable for their ecosystem and they let us run with it. And now they support it. So that's kind of the right way to go about it. The wrong way would be saying sponsored by HubSpot, using verbiage in the promotions like HubSpot is telling us to put on their partner tracks, stuff like that,
At the customer scenario, though, again, you're providing a service to HubSpot if that's the case.
This is very much not a partnership. It wasn't. Now I'd say today it's truly a partnership. We are working closely with them and it's more of a partnership. But early on, no, it was just us leveraging their brand in a mutually beneficial way without their permission, but definitely 100% leveraging their brand. And that's what savvy startups need to do. I think partnership teams need to do it. It's guilty by association. Fake it till you make it is another term for it. And I'll give you an anecdote. You can tell me any questions you want on that, but I'll give you a good anecdote that's from my sales background that will help understand where I come from, as well as just this strategy. And I think more teams need to embrace and adopt it and do it correctly. Just have a good way of doing it.
Oh, where's the anecdote? Was that the anecdote?
I was going to see if you have any questions about that specific.
Well, no. All right. So maybe I can lead into the anecdote here with some questions about, when you say channel, and I think of the modern interpretation of channel, I'm starting to think of global systems integrators. I'm thinking about the door openers and communicators for channel development or to sell in a piece of a larger picture that these GSIs are doing. Or in my case, when I was doing channel work, it was working with organizations that were on the GSA schedule, so I could actually sell to the government because we didn't have all the clearances and we weren't approved to do it. We weren't on schedule, so we were selling through organizations. Um, the hand gestures, number one, are going to make an amazing set of audiograms that we're going to toss on here. But you can give me a count each finger individually. That would be even better. But does that open the door for the anecdote of like,
Perfect.
there we go.
Perfect segue.
Clairvoyance.
No, I'll tell you why. That's perfect. You mentioned government. You mentioned, getting into these bigger organizations, call it. You mentioned that acronym GSI, or you didn't mention the acronym, but system integrators, SIs, GSIs. You're talking about Accenture, PwC, Deloitte. That's big organizations do this all day long, right? Land and expand in an ecosystem organization. You get these true partnerships where you can say we are the approved blank for blank, right? Now, early on in my sales career, I'll tell you 2 anecdotes, same strategy, different companies. During college, I was selling advertising and digital marketing for car dealers. I came onto this company. I have a set of SKUs that I can sell. And I have a territory that I can sell to. It's all over the phone and over internet, email, etc. And there was a salesperson that had been number one salesperson for like a year and a half, 2 years by far. No one came close. And he was just coasting. He was just good at sales, right? Dial and smile, smile and dial, whatever the term. I come in, I say, okay, well, what are we selling? Who are we selling to? One of the things that we could sell are vanity phone numbers, like 1-800 I love cars or whatever, right? And part of my territory was a lot of naval bases, Army bases, military bases, right? In my territory that I had. I found out that it turns out that, what are they called? POWs? No, that's prisoner of war. Wrong acronym. Basically early cadets, cadets anyone employed by the military, anyone in the military, they had a discount and a subsidized car lending program through the military. And I found out that car dealerships really loved advertising their deals to these military bases. So I went and collected all the car dealerships that were around the military bases. And I went and collected all of our vanity phone numbers, 1-800 Army car, or 1-800, I love military, whatever it was. And I collected all of those, collected the list, and I went to all of these car dealerships and I said, yeah, you can buy a website, you can do this. I'm going to come to you with a full package of advertising that is directed at these military cadets for the purpose of getting them this discount that you offer on the car. And I sold entire packages, and I was number one salesperson. I think my second month there, blew out the records. Everything was just done. And the ironic thing there is I made such a big splash and did it so well that they had to fire everybody in the department, which is the unfortunate thing. And they changed the way they sold entirely. And they just created a business development channel team to just go directly to these organizations. And they didn't do direct selling anymore after a few months of that. And they said, thank you, Alex. You did great. A little bit of severance and thanks, but we're gonna take it from here. Right. Shortly after that, one more, and then I'll let you dive in here, because the second one I think is even a better example. After that, I was selling websites to mortgage brokers and realtors. Right. We had these packaged up websites, and I had to sell them to the specific audience, right? They were templatized for real estate or templatized for mortgage. I found out that nobody had started relationships with the National Association of Realtors or the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. Me, first month on the job, again, big eyes and strategy rolling around in my head. Like, why is everyone just going direct to these single mortgage brokerage houses and single real estate companies? Why? I didn't understand it. So without any approval, this is where I kind of probably went wrong. I went out and said, okay, well, how much do we make off of all these websites, and what type of package would I need with a discount in order to net a huge return, but also be able to bundle up a discount? And I did some numbers, and I back channeled some of the local members of those organizations. So the head of the NAM, National Association of Mortgage Brokers, for where I was, San Diego, right? Got a hold of them, went to them and said, hey, we've got an amazing offer for your entire membership. It's going to be this much. All of your members can have a discount. We just need to hit this minimum. You think you can get 3 of your members or 5 of your members to agree to this, and I'll get you the entire discount for your entire membership. There were like 300 in just the area that I was in. And they said, actually, that's really attractive. We do have some new members that would love that deal. They're, penny pinching. They do need the website. Let me get back to you. They come back with an agreement. Then I went to my boss and said, hey, I've got 50 websites in this hand right here. All you have to do is approve of this discount for all 50. They agreed. I went up to the board. I remember this, the funniest thing ever. We had these little cards that we add to the board, which were single sales, and you put the number on it and you ring a bell or whatever. It's pretty, salesy. I went up there with a stack of 50 cards and I put them all up there. The last month, the highest, the most sales of any salesperson, the month before was 30 total sites, the entire month. I walked up there after a week of second month in and just put 50 on the board. Then I went to the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. I think that was the real estate one, and maybe mortgage broker first. I can't remember. Then I did the same thing with the National Association of Real Estate, and 50 more. And then I did it again and again and again. And then I got tired of that and I left. But that's where I come from. It's very much, why are we going direct? Why are we doing one-to-one? Why are we doing these single set challenges? Why aren't we looking at a true partnership with an organization, but instead of going to them like, let's partner and then let's do this? No, you come to them with, here's what I can do. Bring it to your whoever. Then if your members like it, we can develop our partnership, strengthen it. We come up with badges for the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. We come up with campaigns to go after all 200,000 members or whatever it is, and we land and expand. So it's not coming to you and let's partner. It's coming to you with, here's what I can do for you and your membership and your organization and your needs. Let's do that first. Then if they like it, let's land and expand and figure out how to, we call it partner enablement. How do we grow this partnership, right? That's, I think, the better way to just look at it, right? Too many people are just reaching out. Let's partner. Let's do this. Let's do that. And it's no, bring to them something specific, then see how that works. If everyone's happy, then let's partner. Then let's do more. Then let's, and then co-marketing, we mentioned, is an easy way to start that, because you may not have the ability to do something big like that to start, but you can feature someone in a podcast, bring them on the stage at an event, put them in your blog, right? That's easy.
Yes. Well, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to sell you. You gave me a ton here to unpack. So let's roll it backwards. Hey, look, brothers in arms. We've both been through a scenario where we clevered our ways out of a job and developed something for the organization. And they said, hey, thanks for making everything 1,000 times better. Now get the hell out of here. How do you beat that? The situations you put out, though, that's the two anecdotes, they seem similar at surface level, but for me, they feel very different, where the DoD work was a lever. It was a clear path to revenue that you could take to the auto dealers, not any type of partnership. Not the strategy was, there's money out there, there's free money out there, there's an easy sell out there. Hey, if you sell Hellcats, SRTs, or minivans, this is your number one client base. Here's where all the stuff sits. I'm going to sell this to you. I get that. That's a lever. That I get. But then when you're talking about the realtors, the National Association of Realtors and mortgage brokers and whomever else, that starts to feel more like a partnership, but it feels just incentivized. It's like adding to a AAA discount or being in a passport book as a restaurant. Like, do you really consider that a partnership when you're infiltrating the demographic base of a professional organization?
Yeah, and then it goes back to the when is it called a partnership, right? So the biggest takeaway from that is you don't go to that association and say, let's partner, and then go through the very long process of checks and balances. Everyone's got to be bought in, contracts, terms, go to market. You don't do that. You say, here's something that I'll put on my shoulders right now. I will, all you have to do is put me in this room or put me in this email or just mention that it's an option. Let me handle what happens next. Let me prove that I can be of value to your clients, association, membership, whatever. Then I'll come back to you with a go-to-market. Then I'll come back to you with, okay, well, that worked. Let's partner now. Now let's go through the process of coming out as, hey, we're partners. Badges, contracts, multiple meetings, a true go-to-market, co-selling, right? That's, I think, the biggest takeaway there is not just saying, I want to partner with that entity over there. I'm going to knock on doors until somebody gives me a meeting. And just to openly, another anecdote, someone booked a call with me the other day, and they're in partnership consulting or something like that. And I get to the call. I'm like, okay, what do you want to talk about? And they're like, I don't know. I just figured, we'd have a call and just open up conversation to figure out what we can do together. Usually I would think I was in a bad mood that day, honestly, but okay. Let's devil's advocate. You just want to open the conversation. Well, now you're putting it back on me to do work, which is thinking about, okay, now I got to look at your website and see if there's anything I see there, and I got to research. That, I think, is where a lot of people in partnerships go wrong. Specifically, salespeople seem to be better at this, where they're saying, except for the caveat of that person that entered my DMs as a partnership person. But most salespeople are direct. I'm going to sell you this. This is why you want to buy it. You're either going to tell me yes or no, and I'm going to move on to the next. But the in between, I think, is where it's super valuable to say, listen, I don't want to sell you. I want to sell the people that you're connected with. You're not going to just let me have it. You're not just going to introduce me. No, you don't know me. What I want to do now is to say, you've got a pie over here. I've got a pie over here. Eventually, we're going to share pies, and I'm going to take a piece of yours. You're going to take a piece of mine. But what I want to do today is show you how we can bake a pie together. Together, we're going to create a new pie, and that we're going to share. And if that goes well, then we're going to dip into each other's pies, right? Don't come after me.
Phrasing. Oh, wait, this is an explicit episode. I don't give a damn. You can say weird stuff like that. All right, so Alex is expecting people to dip into his pie. You start with the DMs there. So you hit one of my favorite things. The whole point of this is to help people be better at their job, to provide anecdotes, to provide that feedback, not to give advice, but just the only advice is, like, we can all do our jobs better. And whoever told you to do this thing the way that we're complaining about, they're not helping you. Move on. So that's an easy way partnerships go wrong. What about incursion? Is that go? So you're talking about when you're dealing with these organizations and you're giving them the proof of concept. Here's the value I provide your members. Not a partnership. Here's a value that I provide them. Let's do something together. Let's get feedback from them. Let's see the value. When you're talking about doing that, let's say somebody goes to an A16Z event or they join a Slack group, and the first thing they do is come out of the gate pitching and trying to develop that MVP with no formal communication channel. They're doing a true incursion. I don't like it, but is that permissible? Is that something you'd say is okay?
No, definitely not permissible. We kick people out of our Slack group all the time. We introduce them to Slack with some bold text that says, you are not here to sell. If you get caught selling to our members, meaning pitching your product or pitching your service, we will boot you immediately. So no, that is not okay. In our world, especially, this is Partner Hub, this is partnerships. We don't sell to each other. I'm not after you, right? As a buyer. So that's, I think that's first and foremost. I do think, again, a lot of individuals have been trained and developed in systems of, like, that's your target, go after that, get a yes or no. right? Especially salespeople. Marketers are a little more democratic, and they're like, you know what? You're smart. You're a thought leader. I need to develop some content. I know if I'm a good marketer that content is going to get more shares on social, higher time on page, which is good for SEO, more backlinks if I have a thought leader featured in that article. If we're a good marketer, again, some of us, maybe not. So I'm going to bring you in. But partnerships people are kind of caught in the middle of all that, where they say, well, it's hard for me to get marketing buy-in. I just published the podcast about marketing buy-in with Mason, growth and partnership alignment, what it is. And then, direct sales, they need to create pipeline. So they're looking at you, maybe not for you, but they're looking at you because you have a specific customer that they need. And they just lack maybe the training, maybe the just social norms. I don't know, where they're just like, they don't see around, right? They just see a door. You're the door. And behind you is what they want. And they're going to go to you directly and say, open that door. And they don't know any other way. Most of them, honestly. Good ones, of course. We're not talking about you. If you're good at your job, if you're good at partnerships, you go and you say, I need what's behind you, but I'm going to get you to open that door and bring them out. Not let me in, but bring them out, right? That, I think, is the big difference. And there's strategies underneath all that we can unpack at a later time. But that, I think, is where most people in this business, tech, sales, partnerships, marketing, are missing. Like, how do we draw them out instead of try to get him to open the door for me, right? Let me in.
Throw a break in here. Do you have a hard stop?
No, we can keep going.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm a strong believer that, and having worked in nonprofits and government and startups especially, that one good referral is worth 1,000 hours of research. People skip that. Do you consider social proof and referrals partnerships?
Social proof and referrals as partnerships. I think this is where I think co-selling is having a very tough time, is a situation where, okay, well, we know we want referrals from each other. Let's map our accounts, CRM. You tell me who's in your pipeline, I'll tell you who's in mine. And I'm going to immediately make some referrals, right? A couple big issues with that. I'm only going to refer you someone if you've referred me someone, right? I don't feel obligated to refer you anyone until you refer me. So someone has to do a referral.
That's a stalemate, but okay.
It's kind of a stalemate situation. Second issue with that is most people that are co-selling are on sales teams, which means account executive to account executive, right? I don't know any account executives that have that type of customer relationship where they can go to their brand new customer, and maybe even just a customer they've known for a while, and say, also meet with these 5 other salespeople for me, right? Yeah, some, but if we're honest, very few can do that. Very few have that relationship with the customer. That's a big issue with co-selling right now. So what we say to those people that are like, okay, well, you want referrals. Again, it's not about asking for that referral. I get LinkedIn requests all day long. You probably do too. I saw you were connected to so-and-so. Can you introduce me? If I did that, I would not have any LinkedIn connections. And oftentimes that introduction comes with no context. Like, why? What are you going to do once I introduce you? How are you going to use my name in that process, right? How are you going to talk about our relationship? What are you going to sell them? Do I feel like what you're trying to sell them is any good, right? I don't know. What you're asking me for is not an introduction. You're asking me for my reputation. You're asking me to do research. You're asking me to vouch for you. You're asking me for a lot when you're asking for a referral. It's not just a referral. So the issue with referrals specifically, I think that all partnerships and marketing and salespeople need to understand is it's good to get the data. Who knows who's closest to who. But when you know that, don't go and ask for referrals. You go and say instead, Alex, I saw you were connected with these 10 people at this organization. I've been in a sales motion with them for a few months, and I would love to work together to get this done. Now, I'm not asking you to refer me directly. What I'm asking you to do is bring me onto your podcast, and we can talk about how XYZ, which benefits your listeners. I can bring my CEO in or whatever. Or what I'm asking you to do is help me create a co-marketing strategy that puts us both in front of those customers. I'm willing to bring market development funds to help create that. I'm willing to bring lists of potential audiences that you may want. I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to create. I'm willing to bring assets. I'm willing to bring all this stuff to the table. All I need you to do is, when it comes down to it, you send the links to what we created together to those individuals, suggesting they read it, suggesting they listen to it. That's it. Not saying go book a call, just send them what we created together. That I'm willing to do.
So if you have somebody out, you're paying for dinner. If you're the one proposing, you're buying the ring. That's where your reciprocity kicks off, and that's where the stalemate goes away. All right. And then I love it because, all right, so my takeaway from some of this as well is I've had a lot of luck with the 3-part introduction, where it's not like, hey, can you introduce me to somebody? It's, hey, can you introduce me to somebody because I'm interested in this and they seem to have a piece in this thing. But before you do that, check in with them. I always do the 3-part. Somebody comes to me, I check with the person I'd be referring to. Hey, this idiot reached out to me out of nowhere. Don't really know them, but they're making a good case. Would you like the introduction? There's my 3 parts. Final part being the introduction itself. It's worked out really well, being on all 3 sides of it. But I love it. Referral is a lift mechanism. No cold referrals, no cold introductions. It's part of the process. I'm loving that. How do we start doing that better? Are there frameworks or best practices in partnerships? Or is it just kind of like 95% soft skills and being astute and able to read the room, and then 5% actual hard skills that you could train somebody?
Another great segue. Just get into Partner Hub.
I'm winning here.
Just get into Partner Hub. We take a lot of this burden off of your shoulders by introducing you and your profile to the right partners inside of Partner Hub. That's programmatic. We provide you these features like live offers, where you can submit an open co-marketing opportunity to our ecosystem. You can decide who it goes to and what the restrictions are. We will syndicate it out. Anybody getting involved in that, now we have a process, a strategy, articles, videos, etc., to show you how to take someone that's in a co-marketing relationship with your organization and convert them to a partner. It's a long process. It does take time and energy, but it works, and it's all productized now. If you need more help, we have the Partner Manager Bootcamp. If you're an organization trying to figure out when and how to launch a partner program, we have the Partner Programs Accelerator. These are boot camps that we do every October. Then they get recorded and they get put into the Partner Programs Collective. If you're an agency listening to this, we have courses, strategies, tactics, tons of resources, videos, articles in the Agency Partners Collective. If you need direct support, and if you meet anybody in our ecosystem and you do form an actual partnership, you can directly message them and conversate in our shared Slack. So you don't have to join each other's Slacks or anything like that. Everybody is in one place. And of course, if you want to manage all of your partnerships, you can invite your partners to Partner Hub.
Tinder, open marriage Tinder for services. Out of context, that sounds as great as it does in context.
Someone did refer to us as a dating app for partnerships, which, I get it, but that's just the tip. We do. All
right, phrasing. We're just gonna keep running down that road.
That is just the innuendos. But yeah, that's what partnerships is. You can look at it exactly like you're out there trying to date. You're trying to find that lucky person in your life. It's going to take time. It's going to take reciprocity. It's going to take showing them what you want to do, that big picture. That's where we kind of sell the where is my life going? Is your life going on the same direction? Do we want the same things? That's partnerships. Same thing with partnerships. Where are we going? What are we doing together? Why are we doing this? Do you want kids? I don't want kids, so that's not going to work. Move on, right?
Yeah. How attached do we really want to be? And that's, you had gone into the differing degrees. Maybe, so for show notes, a few things. We'll throw a demo of the platform up on snappy.com. We'll show the B-roll demo that you went through pre-record on the YouTube channel. And no, that'll be good. That'll be good. Maybe we'll make a little infographic about the depth of what a partnership is. What was your best mistake?
Best mistake. My best mistake was honestly being naive enough to launch Partner Hub. We had a great service business. We had a community that was building. As soon as we decided to say we're entering the tech business now, we immediately are looked at as, oh God, they're just going to start selling us as a community from our community standpoint. And it is an incredibly difficult thing that we started to do. I had investors tell me, Alex, love the idea. It is impossible. It is too difficult. You cannot bring both sides of the ecosystem into one place, ask them to use the same product to manage both of their programs, and get solutions providers to use it. No way. There's no way. Right. And I said, yeah, you know what? I'm going to try it. So call it a mistake. It was definitely very difficult. Burnt a lot of money on version 1, made a lot of mistakes in version 1, and ostracized ourselves more or less from our community for a little while. But then once they realized what we were doing, and once we came out with our product and they saw the value of it, everyone said, oh, okay, I get it now. And we're going to continue to come to you for guidance, support, and we're not going to worry about whether or not you're going to sell us, because we see what you did and we see the reason and the vision, and we're bought in, right? So now we have a community-backed product, which is also very difficult and rare to have. And if you're interested in getting involved in what we're doing, we just opened our extension pre-seed round that will go until probably February, March. We'll close that out. And you can be an investor and an equity shareholder in our vision of a better future for go-to-market teams.
Oh my God, you're putting me on the money to get this edited by March. Okay, well.
Please, yeah, get it edited by March. I'll help if you need.
All right, so I'm going to have you do my job for me a little bit, and then we'll move into the lightning round. You do a lot of these shows. You talk to a lot of people. What are a couple questions that you wish you were asked, especially when it comes to partnerships?
When it comes to partnerships, or in general,
or just being an entrepreneur, a founder. You talked about your mistake moving into a purple ocean space, and how change can, being a change maker and a disruptor can alienate you from the core audience because change is painful. Like, I talk about this stuff all the time, but what do you wish somebody had asked you in any of these interviews? Like, what's the big
what it is really like? I mean, I think I don't know. It's really what it's like doing the job of SaaS startup. I think is one of the things that most people don't fully understand. And it's definitely analogous to getting in repeated car accidents while you're late for a job interview that will be a make or break for your life. That's what it's like. It's like every day you get in a car wreck on your way to work or on your way to an interview. That's what building a startup is like. And people don't fully understand it, especially once you take on money. Every day there is a huge dilemma that you have to work around. Every day there is a major catastrophe. And I just posted something on LinkedIn that was an interview, I think, with Elon Musk, and talking about really his life is, I can't imagine, but he put it into context really well of just like, okay, well, what is it like? And it's very much like getting in a car wreck on your way to work every day, not a life-threatening car wreck, but a car wreck that makes it so you have to figure out how to get to work. Are you going to ditch the car? Are you going to take an Uber? Are You're going to wait and be late? You have to figure out all of these permutations like speed chess, right? You have to say, okay, well, I've got 10 seconds to make a decision. And if I go that route, my life could be forever changed, which is my company could be forever changed. And every day you have to make that decision. And if any one of those decisions is too wrong, some are going to be wrong and they're going to make you late or make you miss that job opportunity or whatever. But if one is too wrong or too many are wrong in a row, company dies, right? Especially in our space, especially during COVID, especially in partnerships. It's like, so what I did wrong plus what I wish I would have asked is like, what did you do incredibly wrong? Call it launching a business during COVID. It turned out successful. But if you put me back 3 months after I went down that road or right after I closed my initial round, you would argue that that was a bad decision. Worst possible time to launch a SaaS business in partnerships. But here we are. We made it through.
Because in this recession, it's all about expansions and renewals. But I'm a strong believer in partnerships. My entire career is made off of partnerships. It's the low lift. Actually have somebody working with you, different perspective, smallest budget way of getting things done. So there we go. Awesome. And also thanks for bringing to the table that all these little LinkedIn think boys and people that have books published that have not been there. No, it's not about what can you say no to, or do you know how to prioritize, or what can you hand off to. That is not a thing. If you're becoming a founder or an entrepreneur of any type and somebody tells you that, that is not somebody to listen to because it is not an option. So I'm going to take the nod as an agreement. We don't have to have an audible because some people don't want to be called out on that.
Yeah. And I think we are very much in, there's a book that I'm reading right now called The New Rules of War. I forget the author. Great book, but it talks about how we are continually, the large organizations of government are continually preparing for the old ways of entering a conflict. Same things happening with larger ecosystems, same things happening with the trickle-down approach of strategy from those large software companies in the world that are preparing and still going to market in the old way. And that type of example setting is trickling down to the SaaS startups, the product-led, community-led, ecosystem-led, and they are buying into that. And they are trying to replicate a go-to-market that is dated, is expensive and difficult. And the only way that the larger software companies of the world can continue to go to market like that is because they can throw bodies at it and throw money at it and make it work. But the SaaS startups, the 99% of companies listening out there, even the agencies, you need to implement the new rules of war, which is boots on the ground, partners in place. You're not going and fighting a battle in the old way. You are coming at it from the inside out, from the bottom up. You have to infiltrate from the inside out, right? Which means who's in that market now? Who do I need to partner with? Establish those relationships, land and expand, not PR and sales and SEO. No, it's who do I need to partner with? What do each of those individuals need from me? Get those done. Enter that market together. Go to market with each one of those entities that's already in that market in any way you can, and then move on to the next and the next, right? I think that's a good analogy.
No, there we go. It falls into something I just hate more than anything is Lord of the Rings and all that nonsense at the end. But you think about that end battle and you're going in by yourself and all is lost. And then all of a sudden these eagles fly by, dropping gigantic bear tanks into the middle of everything. And invulnerable ghost pirates show up out of nowhere. And I guess that's what your partners bring to the table is they introduce a ton of nonsense that provides a lot of value. And you have to get used to somebody else's opinion and sharing.
Yeah, analogy is good, man. Look at the Ukraine conflict. Russia is the old juggernaut software company throwing bodies at the go-to-market, right? Meanwhile, there's all of these smaller battles going on across the planet where the smaller companies are winning. The smaller states are winning against larger states, larger countries, because they are there. You didn't know that they were there. They had partners there. They were already there. And you're trying to fight a battle that you can't win. You can't throw bodies at that.
Nope. Jumping in a lightning round. You ready?
Go.
We're going to wrap it up here, buddy. Is it pronounced a GIF or GIF?
I say GIF. I hate saying GIF. I think peanut butter. I don't know. I say GIF.
All right. Does sales hate marketing?
Yes.
What's the most important metric for a salesperson?
For your salespeople, I'd say pipeline speed. I think today, because deals get taken so quickly, I think pipeline speed is a super imperative metric that not enough teams are focused on. Total pipeline, yeah, great. Pipeline speed, I think is bigger. Well, if you get pipeline speed figured out, then you're product driven, you're also partnership driven, and you're doing it right. Then you can pour more leads on that fast pipeline, right? But get that pipeline speed figured out.
Speaking of speed, we're going to go back to the lightning aspect of the lightning round. Partnerships, are they sales motion, marketing motion, and amalgamation, or something better?
I'd say something better. I'd say the world of partnerships, you don't need departments. It's very much, we are an entity. You're working with this entity, you're working with that entity. Get whatever you need done. Part of that's going to be marketing, part's going to be sales. I'm very much a different type of organization that's going to come out over the next few years.
If somebody's unhappy in sales or marketing, what is their move into partnerships? What's the best personality type?
I just did mine, LNFJ, whatever.
Okay.
I just did mine. Someone sent it to me. I was like, I wonder what I am.
We'll get the Myers-Briggs posted for everybody. We'll do some Enneagrams. Maybe we'll bring out some Lencioni if I can hold my vomit back from that.
I think you got to be an extroverted introvert. I think, and I hate to use myself as a good example, but I am a perfect example. Like, I hate going and trying to network. I'm not that. I'm not a networker, right? But you put me into Slack ecosystem, you put me into LinkedIn, you put me into those types of environments, get me a community, and I can destroy that, right? So someone that's creative and an introverted extrovert, I think is a perfect person to do partnerships driven stuff.
I like that you said that, because that was my statement about myself always, that I'm an extrovert that shipped with an introvert's charging cable. And you put me at a dinner table with 10 of the right people, just keep the beer away from me and we're good to go. But all right, if we're not calling customers partners, what should we call them?
Partners, I'd say alliances. I like, that term does kind of ring a few bells. We have the saying, the people are your partners.
All right.
Calling someone a person, I mean, that's not helping you, but I think whatever you call them, I think the understanding is you can integrate with the company, you can sign a contract and a legal agreement with the company, you can, pay referral commissions to a company if you want. But at the end of the day, the person inside of that company is who is going to be your partner, who's going to work with you, who's going to put their blood, sweat, and tears, who's going to need you to bring them value, right? How are you valuable to that person, right? That's what's going to strengthen your partnership. That's what's going to keep them bringing you business and bringing you referrals and bringing you co-marketing and leads and all that stuff. If you benefit them.
Perfect. You gave me a window for my topical SEO push. Let's say people first, community-led growth, AI, and product-led growth we'll toss out there. So my show notes have higher SEO. What's the most important metric for a marketing team?
Most important metric. Biased answer. How many third parties are you working with today?
Like vendors and consultants?
No. Just
Oh,
how many are you working with? Are you just churning out a bunch of content written by you and a couple of ghostwriters? Or are you think about a Gantt chart, right? I've got a co-marketing endeavor with this guy and this company over here. I've got an event with these 5 over here coming. I've got teed up for this going on and a motion over here going to market into this. And these are my partners in there. How many actual third-party contacts are you in a functioning project with right now?
love it. I love it. All right, perfect. We're going to have you back for the metrics episode. Zapier, Zapier, or Zapier?
Well, I think someone said this in another thread about Zapier. It's, you don't zape anything. Let's stop saying zape. You're not zaping stuff, right? It's Zapier. I knew the founder through a partner I had. He was one of the potential co-founders, but he left right before, and he's annoyed by it too. It's Zapier. Let's stop saying zape.
It's the most important function in marketing.
The most important function in marketing, I'd say whoever is the face, the thought leader, right? And sometimes it's your marketing manager who's just badass, tactical, posting like very visible, LinkedIn, going to all the in-person events. Sometimes it's the VP, but it's typically someone in between. It's not always the CMO, someone like at the director level that's just really apparent, right? Who is the most popular person on the marketing team in the interwebs? That is your most valuable person, in my opinion.
When we're talking the gate to heaven or the gates of hell in gated content, which way?
I'd say gates to hell. And we struggled with this too. We can put a gate on our community and just say pay to play. And I've bought into a couple gated communities where it's just like influencers that start a community in whatever space and claim to have the greatest content in the world behind the scenes.
Dumb luck echo chamber.
What?
Dumb luck echo chambers.
And it's just them talking about what they have going, and they'll post some fluff, like, just these fluffy like memos in there that are just like, just a reminder, it's Tuesday, just be a team player. I've been a part of that team player. It's like, what am I supposed to do with that? Right? No. If I'm going to pay to be a part of your community, I want you to introduce me to partners. I want you to be telling me exactly what I should be doing with specifics in that, and putting me into contact with the people that I should be doing it with. So the best communities out there are the ones where they are actively introducing their members to each other and actively facilitating partnerships, I'd say. I don't think the content-based paywall is even an option called a value. I don't think so. I wouldn't pay for it. I wouldn't pay $10 a month for that.
All right, final stretch. Most important metric in partnerships?
Not total partners, I'd say. If you had to put a metric that is a precursor, I like precursor. Everyone's going to say, oh yeah, total revenue, partner sourced revenue. But again, I'd say, how much are you doing with each one of your partners, right? How many projects are you involved with each one of your partners? So the average number of active projects over a period of time per partner, 4, 2, 3. If that number goes up, revenue, entirely pipeline speed, SEO figures will go up. Every KPI across the organization will go up if you are doing more stuff with each one of your partners. You got to pick your partners well. You got to do it with the right partners. But if you do more with your partners, every KPI will go up or down or go to the right direction, let's say.
All right, you prompted another question that's not in the flow. Is partners to partner active projects a ratio that you want to keep in mind, or do you only count organizations you're in an active project with as an actual partner?
So it's partners to active projects as a ratio?
Do you want, is that a
Third
good
parties. I
metric?
wouldn't even say partners, because again, it's guilty by association. I take the word partner out of it when you ask me about marketing. Best KPI for marketing is how many third parties are involved in your marketing projects right now. How many are you involved with? How many total third party, not your company, projects are you involved in? That is it. That's
So if you're not together, don't say you're together.
No. Say you're together. As long as it's not false and incriminating for either party and illegal. Again, it's do stuff together, put each other's logos in the stuff. Like if I was to do a podcast with you, I don't put your logo for whatever you've got on your LinkedIn. I put your face, right? I want your face on that card, that blog post. I want you up there, right? I'll put your logo there too, but guilty by association. So same thing with partnerships. It's a ratio of how many third parties, individual and org, are you actively working with in live projects. Not, hey, they signed a contract 6 months ago and we have a quarterly meeting. It's no, we've got a podcast going. After this, we're going to promote it. I'm going to put you in my podcast. Great. That's 2 projects we've got. I've got 2 with you. Now I go to my next partner and I've got 1 or 2 with them, so on and so forth. That Gantt, you can imagine a Gantt chart. If there's ever a time in that Gantt chart where it's just, I don't have any active projects with any third parties, that's when you're probably going to hit a low quarter or a low month or a low week, right? If that's filled, you got layers, got active projects all filled up with that Gantt chart. It just looks like bricks, building blocks in different colors. You're going to have a great quarter.
Perfect. Best person to follow on LinkedIn.
I follow. We like our boy Mason for ABN stuff. Partnership stuff is a lot of fluff out there. Guy named Adam Pash is really good. I like him. Agency stuff, Chris Dubois, we just brought him onto the team. He's a great follow. If you're agency leadership, he's a former military commander and a great leadership guy. Dubois, Chris Dubois, great dude, great follow. Me, if you really like tactical partnership stuff, I'm going to be selfish and say me. Honestly, I post the stuff that I post because I can't find it where I wanted to find it. So I'm very much like that. If I don't find it, I'll do it type of thing, right? Who am I missing? Amanda Nielsen's great. She's great for partnership stuff. She's great for sales stuff. I don't know, man. I'm honestly not good with the whole LinkedIn influencer following. I'm very much like...
You give us what, 5 people? We're fine there. You only needed 1. You could even said, I don't know. Best book recommendation, educational site or program for partners.
I'm going to say again, New Rules of War, very analogous to partnerships. Very, very analogous. It talks about how you need to be there. You have to be there. One of the reasons the U.S. is in a very tough spot right now is we have that mentality of build a bunch of tankers, spend billions of dollars on freight and, aircraft carriers and order a bunch of those because we're going to show up to a shoreline. It's going to be D-Day all over again. No. The savvy, smaller states that are winning in partnerships right now are saying, no, while you're doing that, you're spending 20 grand on a PRM and you're creating a big PR go-to-market that's all focused around your company's logo and not focused around the people inside your company. No, we're partnering with that individual. We're going to market with that agency. We're bringing them close to our book of business. We're co-marketing like crazy. We're already there. You're going to spend all your money. You're going to show up to the beach, and we're going to be sitting on the beach with the people that live there. You're going to have no choice but to turn around, right?
First step to being you when I grow up.
Be blissfully ignorant. What's the other phrase? I heard a really good way of phrasing that the other day, but yeah, you got to be naive. You got to be naive. I think if you're too smart these days, not only are you going to be stressed out like crazy, but you're going to see all the roadblocks, and it's going to create it's going to create failure before you even have a chance of success. You have to be naive enough to say, you know what? I don't see the path to success, but I know there's one there. There's always one there. And you have to give it. You got to have the naivety of just saying, I don't know, but I'm going to try it.
All right. Do you want people finding you?
Yeah, LinkedIn's great. I put my newsletter link there. It's the Pulse newsletter that I run on partnership stuff. So if you're interested, and the partnership strategy, it applies to everything, I think, and I hope you agree. Product should be learning about partnerships, marketing 100%, sales 100%, CEO, of course. Doesn't matter what industry, where you're at in your career. If you do not understand how to work with third parties, read that and follow it.
Cool. You just hammered out the last two on it as well. So look at that. You hit a turkey without even knowing it a triple. You're on third. All right, everybody. The show was not brought to you by, but we'd happily take a check from HubSpot, Accenture, PwC, Deloitte, 1-800-ARMY CAR, Cybersecurity Marketing Society, Partner Hub, Marcus Kalki and the Inquisitor Podcast, Zapier, Myers-Briggs, Adam Pash, Chris Dubois, Amanda Nielsen, and the Thought Leader Labs, and the New Rules of War. Alex, thanks for being on. I hope you had a good time.
I did. Thank you, sir.
All right, buddy.